it's Rich here. A lot of people are talking about the crazy increases in the cost of car insurance. And last week's inflation data shows that they are correct. This article on Yahoo Finance talks about it and says that auto insurance costs rose 20.6% from the prior year in February. And you can really see it here in this chart that shows the 12-month change in the price of all sorts of different goods and services. And right there at the top of the list is auto insurance with a 20.6% increase, which is way more than everything else on the list. The next biggest increase is rent at 5.8%. So all the data is showing that auto insurance is going up. And I actually received my own auto insurance renewal a few weeks ago, and my premium has certainly gone up about $400 for the year. And I've been assuming that the increase is just kind of due to general inflation, that auto insurance covers injury to people and damage to property. And inflation has affected both of those things with healthcare costs going up. So, of course, injuries are more expensive and property damage to cars. It's more expensive to fix cars, and new cars are costing a lot more. And so I've just been assuming that's kind of the reason for the increase in the auto insurance is just kind of everything going up, cost of everything going up. But with my own policy, I looked at in detail at the breakdown of all my different coverages. And I was actually surprised to see that it's really one of the coverages that's driving, at least with my policy, it's really only one of the coverages that's driving the increase in my policy. And I was kind of surprised. So I thought I'd make this video about it. And I'm going to go through all of the coverages in my policy. I have pretty much full coverage for my car, and I did not make any changes in my coverage from last year to this year, from 2023 to 2024. I really had no changes at all. I didn't change any of my coverage limits or any type of coverage. I also didn't have any accidents and no tickets of any kind, nothing. And so it's a pretty good comparison to just compare what I paid last year to what I'm going to pay for 2024. And so here I'll run all the numbers by you so you can see each of my coverages. First, what I have here is just my total premium. And in 2023, the cost was $1,460 for the year. I pay by the year. And so for 2024, that is going up to $1,873. That's an increase of $413, which is a 28% increase. So that's even higher than the data I just showed you that showed a 20% increase. Mine's going up 28%. And really, it's even more than that because my car is now a year older. It's the same car, but it's a year older now. Usually the cost of insurance goes down as your car gets older. It is if you have full coverage, like if you have collision, your car's getting older, so it's worth less and so less costly to replace it. With the data I showed you from the inflation reports, I think when they say a 20% increase, I think what they're doing is comparing a brand new car a year ago, the cost to insure it, and a brand new car this year to insure it, and it's 20% more. So my increase of 28% is not only more than 20%, but it's on a car that's a year older. So that's even, I think, in my opinion, even a bigger increase. But at any rate, I had a $413, which is 28% increase. So that's my total premium. And so now I'm going to go through each of the different coverages that I have because I was curious, like what coverage is driving this increase. Like I said, I was assuming it was probably just, 28% spread across everything, but that's actually not the case at all with mine. And I'm going to show you. Here's the first coverage I have is liability. That's broken down into two parts, bodily injury and property damage. And so in 2023 for bodily injury, the premium for that coverage was $324. And now in 2024, I'm going to pay $417. So that's a $93 increase, which is about 29% increase. So that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of in line with my 28% overall increase. And it makes sense. Healthcare costs are definitely going up. So it makes sense that that's getting more expensive. On the property damage, though, this kind of surprised me. The cost of that coverage actually went down by $13 from $291 I paid in 2023 to $278 I'm going to pay in 2024. So that's about a 4% decrease. That kind of surprised me because, again, this is liability. So this is, if it's my fault to pay for somebody else's car damage, I would have thought that would have also went up because of the things I just mentioned. cars are more expensive, repairs are more expensive. So that kind of surprised me that that one went down. So let's go on to the next coverage I have, and that's this medical payments. So again, this was kind of a surprise. The medical payments coverage actually went down. I paid $38 for it in 2023, and it's going down to $28 for 2024, $10 less, which is a 26% decrease. So again, that surprised me. And I'm thinking, where's this big increase in my car insurance? It doesn't seem to be with anything so far, any of those coverages. So let's go to the next coverage. So this is the physical damage. It's broken down into three things: comprehensive, collision, and car rental expense. The first one, comprehensive. Comprehensive insurance pays to replace or repair my vehicle if it's stolen or if it's damaged in an incident that's not a collision, like vandalism. Now here we have a big increase. I paid $58 for that coverage in 2023. This year I'm going to pay $105 for that coverage, $47 more, which is a whopping 81% increase. So that's quite an increase in the comprehensive. And so again, that's if my car gets stolen or if, for example, somebody vandalizes it. So that's a big increase there, but it's still it's $47. So again, my total premium went up $413. So that's still a relatively small part of the total increase. And then here, collision. Now this actually surprised me again. This was a surprise. It went down $40 in 2023. It was $398, and now I'm going to pay $358. That's about a 10% decrease. And again, I thought that would have went up, because that's if I wreck my car, if I just if I drive it into a wall or something and damage my car, that pays, that's my fault, and it pays for my car. And again, the cost with the inflation and the cost of cars and the cost to repair cars, everything going up, I would have assumed that coverage, the collision coverage, would go up, but it went down. And that actually makes sense with what I said earlier, that my car's getting older. And so usually in the past, that's what normally happens. The collision coverage goes down over the years as your car gets older. And typically what I do when the car gets, starts to get really old, I usually drop collision, because it's not worth paying for. As your car's value continues to go down, there's a point where you say, well, I don't want to pay anymore, because the car is just not worth very much. So this actually looks somewhat normal that the collision coverage went down. And so that's surprising, given that my total premium has gone up over $400. So still, I don't see which coverage is causing this massive increase in my premium and my total premium. And this last one here under physical damage, this is just car rental expense. That's, I think, if your car is getting repaired from damage, you have this, and they'll pay for a rental car. Like I said, I have full coverage, so I'm not sure this is something I'm probably going to think about maybe dropping this. But last year I paid $72 for that. This year I'm only going to pay $65. So that went down about $7, about 10%. So again, I don't know where this huge increase, which coverage is causing this huge increase in my car insurance in the total premium. Well, I'm going to show you now what's causing this huge increase. It's on the next screen. It's the last coverage I have. So we should do a drum roll so you can see what is causing this huge increase in my car insurance. And here it is. Uninsured motorist, bodily injury. In 2023, for this coverage, I paid $279. And now this year in 2024, it's costing me a whopping $622. That's an increase of $343, which is 123% increase for that one coverage. So again, I said that the total increase in my premium, the increase in my total premium is $413 for my whole premium. Well, here's 343 of it right here, right in this one coverage. And just to remind everybody, uninsured motorist coverage, that is for accidents when the other driver is at fault and does not have insurance or does not have enough insurance, or if you're maybe the victim of a hit and run. So somebody hits you and then leaves, or they just don't have insurance, or they have very little insurance coverage. That's why I want this coverage, why people want this coverage, because in that case, when it's somebody else's fault and they don't even have insurance, that's what uninsured motorist coverage is for. And this right here, this coverage is the bulk of the increase in my total premium, $343. And so really, when I boil it all down, this is what's driving most of the increase. And then the other thing that is driving a good part of the increase, the second biggest contributor, is the cost of the comprehensive coverage. That was an 81% increase in that coverage. And again, that's if my car's stolen or vandalized. So those two coverages are driving the increase in my car insurance. Those coverages again involve vandalism to my car, or somebody stealing my car, or getting into a wreck with somebody who is uninsured. Other than that, those two coverages, the rest of the changes in my premiums seem fairly normal. Like I said, the property damage liability actually went down a little bit, and the medical payments went down a little bit, and collision went down. So that's fairly normal. Now, the other, I guess the liability bodily injury went up $93. That was 29%. That makes, I'm not happy about it, but I mean, that kind of makes sense given healthcare costs keep going up. So again, in my own policy, that's the way I read it, is that coverages for comprehensive, if my car gets stolen or vandalized, or uninsured motorist, if I have an accident, somebody else is at fault who has no insurance or very little insurance coverage. That is why my insurance, two main reasons, my insurance has gone up $413 for the year. Anyway, if you have any comments on that, please leave a comment below. I'd be interested to see if anybody else has found this in their policy. They've gone through their coverages to see where the increases are. At any rate, if you found this video helpful, please press the like button. I'd really appreciate that. And please check out my channel page. I make videos. This is a little different than what I normally make, but it's still related to what I do. I make videos about traveling in my SUV camping and sleeping in my SUV when I'm traveling. So I have a lot of videos about that. But this is related. I drive, I go on long road trips, so I have to have car insurance like most of us do. And so I found this interesting, and it fits into what's going on with the inflation numbers last week. Like I had showed you in this chart where inflation is and isn't. It's kind of unbelievable. Auto insurance is at the top of the list with just a huge increase of 20%. So this is a timely issue. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.